Hello, this is Dylan Blair. For this lecture video, this is basically just a quick overview of all of the online tools that we're going to be using, such as GradeScope, Canvas, and I think those are our only two that we're really going to be relying on. Um, but either way, let's first talk about Canvas. So, as I mentioned in the announcement, for any of your guys' smartphones, tablets, make sure that you are downloading a Canvas app. I know that there's an Android version. I obviously have the Apple version since I have an iPad. But either way, I'm going to show you guys in this lecture video um, the key features in Canvas based off of the app. The desktop version, when you guys are logging on Safari, is very similar, and you'll be able to kind of figure out the similarities on your own. But either way, when we go on to Canvas, you click on the appropriate course, and the main thing that you're going to want to be accessing is this home button. Okay, that's the default when you open up Canvas, so it's already at the home, and these lists of things are called modules. And you'll see that I created that pandemic module for the coronavirus, and that is going to be basically your best friend along with your assignments tab, obviously, because when you click on the assignments tab, that's when you launch that external tool in order to um, complete your assignments. Oops, clicked on announcements. But either way, when we click on the modules, that's when it's going to list all of the contents within the modules, okay? Or within that module. The very first top component, you can always find this in the discussion board as well, but here's a direct link to any discussion questions regarding this online process. So if you have any questions regarding GradeScope, or if you have any questions regarding Canvas, please ask your questions to this discussion board so that everyone's questions can get answered, because I'm sure that the questions are going to be very similar. But either way, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically organize everything by these little title headers. So you see that this title header says week of, God, what? March, yeah, week of March 16th. And then in parentheses, I say what sections we're on. So for example, this week we're finishing up the chapter 7 story problem section, and then starting chapter 8. And then we had quiz 7 that was a take home quiz during spring break. That obviously we did not return from spring break, so that's going to have to be turned in online. But we do still have a quiz this week, so don't view it as you having two quizzes this week. Quiz 7 should have been done by now. If you haven't done it yet, then I'm sorry, you kind of do have two quizzes this week. But either way, this top one is in bold colors. That's just a title. Below it is the direct link to the PDF file. Then you can download the PDF file, and depending on what you're dealing with in terms of resources, if you're using a tablet, you're more than welcome to open up the tablet in some sort of editing app and use a stylus to edit the quiz and finish the quiz on your own and then submit it into GradeScope. Or you can print it. If you don't have access to a printer, then you can grab a clean slate of paper and you can copy down each of the questions. And when I say that you need to copy down each of the questions, what I'd like you to do is you really do need to put your name in the upper right corner, and then I do want you to write the question content as well. So that means that you would write one, solve for each on the interval x contained on 0 to 2 pi, and then you would write a, sine of x is equal to negative square root of 2 over 2, and then solve for a. And then b, and so on and so forth. So you're writing the questions as well as your work and answers, okay? So don't just submit only your work. You need to make sure you rewrite down the problem statement if this is the option that you have to go down, okay? And then when you are submitting it, and this is also talked about in the announcement, but I'm going to reiterate it, you cannot just simply take a picture and submit the picture, okay? It does need to be in PDF format. So this means that you can, if you have a tablet, this makes it really nice for those of you that have a tablet. You can just export that as a PDF and then submit it through the Safari, through your Safari, in order to submit it onto GradeScope. But otherwise, you would have to use a scanner, and if you don't have access to a scanner, then you would need to actually download a scanner app onto your phone. And please check the announcement for this. I have a few links talking about this scanner app scenario, but in the case that you do actually submit just a picture of your work, you will not receive credit. That will not be graded and it will not be considered. So make sure that you're using a scanner app if you have to take a picture. They are very different. But either way, yeah, complete the quiz and then you'll submit it into GradeScope. And then here's an additional assignment, and this is just a survey just to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on. This is basically reiterating what the announcement was, just in more of a bullet point and making sure that you acknowledge everything that was discussed in the announcement. And then also just making sure that if there's anything that you guys may have an issue with, I just want to be able to hear your guys' voice and actually hear you out and maybe reconsider something. Maybe trying to think. Maybe GradeScope you think is a little unnecessary, and then, which it's not, but this way I can at least reach out to you and explain to you why GradeScope is a good option to be using at this time. And as you guys go through your academic careers, you guys will notice that a lot of your classes actually use GradeScope. For example, all of my other classes use GradeScope for everything, projects and assignments and quizzes, just not exams. Well, exams now they do, but either way. Yeah, so that's that for the pandemic module. Course essentials, if you guys are not familiar with this yet, I would hope that you guys have already kind of experimented with this and seen everything, but there is a link to the textbook. I'd say definitely keep up on reading with the textbook more so than before. There's also a separate Conics textbook, which has just a single chapter, and that's the very last thing that we're going through. And yeah, let's actually talk about that. So this was something that was decided as a department as a whole for the trigonometry sections. All of the sections are following this. Right now, we have just finished law of sines and law of cosines, right? And that was obviously pushed back a week because then we went on spring break right after. But rather than going into these conics sections, which is that separate textbook, we are going into chapter 8 and we're moving the conics section to the very end. Okay, and we'll probably remove half of chapter 9. But either way, that's a slight update on the schedule. But then when we go back to modules, there is some more things for you guys. So here are lecture notes that I provide, and I'm still going to be providing lecture notes, and I'll also provide a corresponding video talking through these lecture notes. These videos are going to be somewhat annotated, but the lecture notes will be likely pretty much complete for you guys, so you guys don't really need to do much other than just kind of hear the verbal explanation of what these slides actually mean. But then there will be separate videos that I will give to you guys through Canvas that will go through specific examples. So I would expect probably 4 short videos per week that will probably be about 20 minutes total in length, okay? And within all of these videos, there is going to be a hidden question, or not question, a hidden keyword was a better way to say it, that is contained in these videos that will also be corresponding to an additional weekly assignment. These weekly assignments is just going to be like a hidden word, so that when I say the hidden word of this week is Walter White, and then you go to the assignment on Canvas and it says, what was the hidden word for this week's videos? And you would type in Walter White, okay? Okay, and then let's see. There's something else that I wanted to talk about too. Was it in course essentials? Yes. So when you're in Course Essentials, there's also these course videos, okay? And this is a link to the math department, and these are completely fine course videos. Um, it is actually how all of the other sections of trigonometry are going to be moving forward with their class, is that they are just giving their students these course videos that are already made, and then they will then hold a remote office hours. But I wanted to be able to give you guys a little bit more material, or at least keep that interaction to myself, because you guys are used to hearing how I explain things, so I don't want to have this mid-semester transition for you guys. But if you guys are still struggling after watching my videos, you guys are more than welcome to come here for additional explanation and additional examples, additional help for trying to understand something, okay? Okay, let's see. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about in here? All of these other modules are just links to like practice problems. So foundation, this is the foundation of trigonometry. So it was chapter 1, chapter 2. And then let's see if we go down to polar coordinates, equations, and applications. That's actually chapter 8 that we're getting into right now. And it's just practice problems and such, okay? Um, and that should be it on Canvas. Make sure you're always checking the announcements too, because what that announcement that I keep on referring to is this very long and lengthy announcement, and I understand that it's very long, but please read through it, because um, it is a very valuable announcement. I made sure to reread through it a few times to make sure that everything was explained very clearly. And if that is not the case, please make sure you go to that discussion board for coronavirus and make sure that you post your questions here. And it looks like we may have, oh no, it was a duplicate response on my end. So yeah, if you have GradeScope questions, actually, yeah, if you have GradeScope questions, you really can post those questions to either the coronavirus discussion board or the GradeScope discussion board. I forgot that I made the GradeScope discussion board. But either way, yeah, that is how I expect you guys to be able to navigate and use Canvas. I think a lot of people usually get stuck in using this Files tab, and it gets very messy very quick. You're more than welcome to look through it. I mean, there is some valuable stuff, such as old keys, old exams, and such from previous semesters. But really, trigonometry doesn't really change much once you've seen one type of question. It's not really going to change much when you see another question onto your exam. The content is so small as it is and constrained. So that, I mean, there's only so many ways that I can ask you to solve cosine of some angle, because there's only so many angles in one revolution of the unit circle, right? So either way, yeah, that is it on Canvas. So now when we exit out of Canvas, let's see. Oh yeah, that is another thing that we will be using is Zoom. This will be for our online office hours, and those are Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings from 7:30 in the morning to 8:45. And if we ever need, if I'm getting a lot of questions and concerns, say a Thursday night, and if I have the time, I'm more than willing to send out uh, another link to another Zoom discussion if that's really needed. But it really just depends on if I have the time at that particular moment or not. But it doesn't hurt to ask. Okay. So either way, you don't actually need to download a Zoom app. You just need to click on the link. But if you do download the Zoom app, I guess it gives you a nice little interface. But really, once you click the link, you're going to be able to be on this Zoom app. And yeah, that's pretty much it on Zoom. I do ask that you guys, when you guys are a part of these discussions, that you remain muted so that there's not a bunch of background chatter going on when I'm trying to talk, and then I'll be sure to pause every now and then to ask for questions. And then that's when you guys can unmute yourself to ask your question and so on and so forth. Okay. Now let's go to GradeScope. So let's see, I have GradeScope open right here. So when you're in GradeScope, you just got to go to gradescope.com, but you need to make sure that you activate your account. So when you guys completed your first midterm, I activated your accounts for you, and it sent you a link to your UMail. So if you have not done this yet, make sure that you go check your UMail from around that time. That was about a month ago. You need to go check your UMail for that link activation, and then you'll click on it, and then it's going to activate your account. Okay. Then from there on out, you're going to be able to just log in and submit your assignments. But either way, when you click on our class, then you see all of these 2 different assignments so far. So you click on quiz 7, you click, let's actually go to one of my course assignments so that I'm not displaying your guys' names, and also so you guys can see it from a student perspective. So when we are looking at this as a student, we look at this and we say, okay, we want to scan upload practice. What you do is you click submit PDF. I actually don't think you guys will have submit images as an option because I have asked you guys to submit PDFs, and I'm pretty sure I have it so it's only letting you do PDFs. But either way, once you select the PDF, let's just do an example one. It doesn't even have to be an exact one. Let's just click a random file that I have. If it will click, you'd then click upload PDF, and we'll wait a moment for it to upload. And then this is the one thing that you do need to do, okay? So when it says question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, like for the survey, I have it just as questions, so it's just all one question. But you do need to click on the question and then associate the pages that go towards that question. So if question 1 was pages 1 through 5, and then question 2 was only page 5, so maybe page 5 had half of the remainder of question 1 and half of question 2 was on it. Maybe question 2 is a short one. And then question 3 was these 3 pages. And then maybe question 4 was this part of this page. And then these 3 pages. And then you would click submit. And it's that easy. And then you click submit. You wait for it to say that it's submitted. And then you'll be able to notice once you submit. So let's go click back on the assignment again. Once you submit, let's go back to this class. It will tell you that it's submitted, okay? So that you kind of have a little bit of a confirmation to let your mind at ease that, okay, I did it successfully, it should be good from here on out, okay? Now it's directly linked to Canvas, so once all of the quizzes or assignments or exams are graded, then the grade will be directly linked to your Canvas so that you'll be able to see your grade, and you'll be able to see your grade on both GradeScope and Canvas, but either way, that is how GradeScope works. Yeah, and that is it for this lecture video. So I will talk to you guys shortly in the next lecture video.